Welcome to the Bros Before Elbows podcast with your hosts, Anthony
and Tommy Masano.
Bringing you the recaps, the rumors, the banter, all of the wackiness that encompasses pro wrestling all the way from PDX and PHX, always from the top rope, and always bringing in, you know it and say it with me, Bros Before Elbows. Welcome, fans, to episode number 11. If you don't know what that is, you add 1 and 1 together, and that's 2, and then you add 9, and that's 11.
Some Bros Before Elbows math.
Some
class.
arithmetic for ya.
Somehow adds up to 11, yeah.
Welcome, fans. Welcome. It's been a wacky couple of weeks. I know we try to do this weekly, but sometimes things like sickness, and sometimes things like snow, and sometimes things creep up in the middle, and they kind of stop us from doing the show.
It's like pestilence and like locusts floating down from the sky. Something always happens on Wednesday night when we're trying to record.
There was a plague of frogs.
Yeah, there was a plague of frogs, and they took away my mic, and they wouldn't let us log into Skype. There's always some wacky stuff trying to prevent us from doing a weekly show, but it's WrestleMania season, so we're going to try to do one every week from now on.
We are also, along with our fans and everybody listening to the podcast, we are now officially onto the entry ramp. We are on the road. We have passed the stoplights. There are no rest stops. The world's biggest potato. We are on the trek and the road to WrestleMania.
So you say the trek to iTunes, getting this on iTunes, because you know someone's going to comment about that.
Yeah, you
know what? We're trying. There's sickness, and there's snow, and there's snowmageddon, there's bronchitis and flu. It's all.
But you know what? When we do get when we do get to WrestleMania, and we will be at WrestleMania at some point in our lives, when we do get to iTunes, it will be a celebration for sure. Because honestly, it takes a lot to run something like this. You know, we do the best we can, and we will get there. We will, with your support, with your comments, with your love, and also from our lovely sponsor, the thegodsofwrestling.com, a great site coming out with pro wrestling art, posters, t-shirts, buttons, stickers, and more. Check them out at www.thegodsofwrestling.com. But with everybody's support and love and help, once we make it to iTunes, honestly, it will be such a great feeling and such a great sense of accomplishment. So thanks for sticking around. Thanks for loving us. We love you back. You know,
it'll be like our WWE network when we get on iTunes finally. It'll be like a big celebration, and we'll have a crazy guest or something.
You know what? Straight up, if you think about it, the WWE network has been around, and it's been a topic of conversation for a long time. Typically, for the last year or so, I've been reading about it on Cage Side. That's one of our favorite folks. Hi, Gino. What's up? But yeah, kind of like our iTunes thing. You know, eventually we'll make it, and we will make it, and it will be great.
Yeah, they will be glorious. So what's going on, man? What's going on in PDX this week, wrestling-wise?
Oh my goodness, wrestling-wise? So a good question was posed today, and so my buddy Adam, and I've been helping him out, and luckily I'm fortunate enough to be helping out at Jackpot Studios in Portland, one of the best, if not the best, recording studio in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, you got people like Elliott Smith that's been recorded through Jackpot, Cat Power,
nice.
M. Ward, Decemberists. There's some new stuff coming out through them, and just like any other bands and stuff. So I was fortunate enough to be hanging out, cleaning the shop up, hanging out with Larry Crane. He is the main engineer and owner operator of Jackpot Recording Studio Inc. Awesome guy. But Adam was asking me, he goes, man, so I don't really know a lot about wrestling, but I got to ask you, if you were your own persona, who would you be? And immediately I think about when we were kids and we were beating the poop out of each other, and I wanted to be El Automobile, but you know what? There comes a point where you got to change your gimmick. Sometimes you got to change.
No, you don't have to change your gimmick. Just El Generico stole your gimmick and just did it way better than you.
Totally did.
I don't know how he snuck into our WWF No Mercy N64 game and saw you create that player and said, "Hey, I'm gonna make a luchador like that."
Well, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn.
I'm gonna be the alter ego. I'm gonna be the nemesis. No, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking of being a luchador.
Of course, okay.
And I only want to say one word. I just want to say C.
That's already a great gimmick because you could just like have like, you know how like Ron Simmons says like damn all the time, or you could just like pop in random segments and just say C.
But it's not so much like a C. It's more of like I'm gonna have this like mean looking mask, and I'm gonna be. You know, I don't have to say a lot because I'll say a lot in the ring. You know, I'll let my wrestling speak my speeches. You know, but when I do say C, it's like I'm coming for that title. C, you know, that's from the soul. C.
We have a lot of built-in feuds. You can have a feud of Daniel Bryan over the word yes. You can have a feud of Los Matadores for masks and being from Mexico.
I'll have a feud with ADR, and you know what? We're gonna have a C battle. It'll be a triple threat match. Me, Sin Cara versus ADR battling for the C.
Battling for the C. You should have your own like C belt. It's just like it'd be funny if you had like your own like C belt instead of the word SI. It just says C. This is a big C on it. You're like you're an idiot. You don't know really know Spanish.
And I wanted to change my name before it was El Automobile, but I think I'm gonna be El Capitano.
The captain.
The captain, dude, because I'm captain of the ship. You know what I mean? I'm the one piloting myself. You know.
This goes back to you running over part of your ADR feud is running over one of his cars with one of your boats.
That's damn right. That is the truth. C.
It's a great feud. It's a great feud. So much potential. But question of the day. Question of the day. Hopefully we'll have more luchadors on the WWE network that just came out this week. So okay, so you guys got the WWE network. I'm assuming everyone out there does. What is the first event and or match you dial up when you get the WWE network? You log in, you do the search function. What do you search for? Is it something from the WCW, something from the WWF, something from the ECW? So what is the first event / match you watch when you get the WWE new and improved WWE network?
Man, that's crazy.
Because that's a huge back catalog of stuff going back 25, 30 years. So what's the first thing you search for, though?
Honestly, where do you start? And I know we'll get back to the question, but it really is something to think about.
Mm-hmm. It's like, do you start from something from your childhood, or you start from something that like what happened in like the last 18 months that you just want to relive that was so epic and awesome, or maybe it's an event you attended live you want to see again?
Who knows? Maybe you leave it to chance. Maybe you have your iPad open and you're just kind of scrolling, doing the quick flip, and you just kind of let your finger, like you kind of turn away from the pad or the mouse or whatever, and you just kind of just randomly pick. Who knows? But whatever it may be, it'll be good because that entire catalog is there. And you know what I think is pretty interesting? Talking about this WWE network, the man himself, Hulk Hogan, is back. I got a cartoon and it's super crazy. I remember that cartoon, dude. You had Superfly, Jimmy Snuka. You had, of course,
Dog.
Yeah, dude, it was a crazy episode, dude. It was filmed and like animated the same way that like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was.
Do you remember the funny thing? I was reading an article on WWE.com about that cartoon from 1985. They only did 26 episodes, and none of the wrestlers did their own voices.
Wait, what?
Yeah, none of them did their own voices. Like
what?
Yeah, I know, right? I never noticed as a kid, but like I don't know, I have to look it up on YouTube or something. But yeah, the voice of Hulk Hogan is the Brad Garrett, the brother from Everybody Loves Raymond. You got the guy with the deep voice. You'd recognize him if you saw him. Big, tall dude.
Really?
Yeah, and the voice of Junkyard Dog is Uncle Phil from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
No way.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of like other people who are like who worked on it and stuff. It's crazy. The only person who did his voice who was actually part of wrestling was Mean Gene Okerlund.
That's interesting because you would think Vinnie Mac would be all over that.
Mm-hmm. He'd be like super good. I guess he said he had a lot of input, but I guess like back in the 80s, they were touring like 7 days a week, so they couldn't like get all the wrestlers into one place at the same time.
Oh no, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, when you do cartoons, I guess you have to do, especially like weekly cartoons, you have to do it all at once. They said. And it's not like a movie where you can film everything like in separate parts. You just have to do it all like one shot, I guess, like 4 or 5 hours and just bust it out. Yeah, so no cartoon Hulk Hogan this Monday on Raw, but he was back on Raw. He opened Raw. He came out and made a speech, hyping the WWE Network, and yeah, it was kind of weird. It's kind of surreal, kind of seeing him back after seeing him in TNA and seeing him in the Impact Zone, then seeing him
Whoa.
On Raw.
You mentioned TNA before I did.
Oh,
So
take a shot.
Here's something that I thought was pretty interesting, and maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't, maybe our fans do, maybe they don't. Who knows? I don't know, but I'm going to say it anyway. So Hulk Hogan comes out, cuts his promo. He's going to be the host of WrestleMania, which I think is rad. They have to give him something. Apparently, he couldn't pass like a concussion test or any type of test. The man is made of glass at this point. But it made me think. He's cutting his promo and he says something, blah, 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 words, Jack. Words, brother. Words, Jack. And it made me think. I go, okay, duh. That's Hulk Hogan doing his thing. Cena then comes out, right? Cena then comes out, cuts his promo, says the same word, Jack. Now I'm putting 2 and 2 together. John Cena is the Hulk Hogan of this era. Who do you think the Randy Savage is of this era?
Oh man, it has to be someone who rivals. It's kind of like the second banana, but I would say I would probably say CM Punk if he stuck around, but he kind of needs like more longevity to like get that kind of like Macho Man status. I don't know, maybe Randy Orton. Of course, like not nearly as talented as Macho Man, like anywhere, on the mic or in the ring. But he's always been kind of second banana to Randy Orton, and I don't know, maybe Daniel Bryan could fall into that Randy Savage role.
That's what I'm thinking, dude. It made me think exactly that John Cena is the Hulk Hogan, and Daniel Bryan is your Macho Man Randy Savage of our time, of this era, of these wrestlers that are there. And I thought it was brilliant. I really thought that it came together that way. You know, I really felt that connection, and I thought that was really cool. You know, I thought like you have two megastars, you know what I mean? And so I think at some point when we see a John Cena versus a Daniel Bryan again, it's not just going to be we saw this on Raw 10,000 times like we have, you know, Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton for the 17th volume. This legitimately would be the next time that these two fight, the way that Daniel Bryan is over and the way that John Cena is obviously over, that it would really kind of, I can't say it will equate exactly, but I will say that it will have a major impact similar to, but not exactly the same. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't know. John Cena's been around for so long. I don't think he's had like a good rival. He's had that Randy Orton rival, but I don't know, he's always been like one step ahead, one like even like tier above Randy Orton. So when CM Punk had his shot, he had the Summer of Punk in 2011. He had his big title reign and everything like that. He had his face turn. I think, he had a shot to be that on that level as John Cena, and then he kind of took his ball and went home. I think so. I think, Daniel Bryan's necked up to bat. He's that next shot.
And here's the thing, like CM Punk kind of got mad at some point. You know, he kind of got mad. He's like, I'm never going to be as big as Cena, so I'm going to be the second dude. But he tried to like force himself onto that role versus naturally just letting it be. I don't think Randy Savage went up to Vinnie Mac and said, I want to be second in command. No, I think it just naturally happened by the crowd. You know what I mean? The crowd will dictate everything. The universe will dictate everything. So I think with CM Punk being a little upset, which I can understand how he could be second banana, but I think he tried to force himself into that role. But now you've got a dude like Daniel Bryan, which is in that role. I don't think he didn't pick it. You know what I mean? He wasn't like, I'm sad, I'm not the guy. He just showed up, did his work, and everybody loved him for it. So I think naturally, just through what the universe is doing and what the WWE fans want, that's why I think like he would be it. But I think what's great though is you have two favorites, right? You got your John Cena, your Hulk Hogan, everybody loves him. Then you got your Daniel Bryan in the Macho Man kind of like, you know, similarity. So these guys are going to be fan favorites for a while, and then it's going to build and build and build and build and build, and then eventually you will get your WrestleMania, and I'm going to call it now, and we're going to listen to episode 2+9, and we're going to look back at this, and we're going to see a Daniel Bryan versus John Cena WrestleMania main event. It will happen. Mark my words
Wow.
now, and it's going to be epic. It's not going to be you stole my woman. It's not going to be that stipulation that's already been done. It's going to be something else, but it's going to be a very, very magnitude. It's not going to be this WrestleMania. It may not be the WrestleMania after this one, man. It may not be 2015, dude. It may be 2016. It may be 2017, but mark my words, it will happen. I am putting that in stone right now.
Crazy. I hope it's better than your Undertaker Sting prediction, but that's not. But similar as what you're talking about, this analogy, I think another comparison is Macho Man kind of grew organically. He was kind of the guy that the kids and like the adults kind of loved because they loved Macho Man because he was like he could go in the ring. He was a cool persona. And so he was loved by adults and kids. And Hogan was mostly loved by kids back in the day. And Cena's now he's come to that point where majority of his fans are younger kids. So I think that comparison kind of holds true too. And then the CM Punk, just we're talking about him. He rose to the top and then kind of faded away. It kind of reminds me, I guess he'd be like the Ultimate Warrior kind of thing because he had this brief time in the sun. He skyrocketed all the way to the top and then kind of like fell off a little bit. So CM Punk's story is not written yet. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes or what's going on. But if the book ended like after the day after Royal Rumble, then I think maybe that could be the comparison. Would be Ultimate Warrior and CM Punk, which is kind of crazy to think about. But
everything
could happen.
comes full circle in the world of pro wrestling, man.
Yeah, crazy.
The question is, who's going to be the Bushwhackers?
That's a question of the day. That's a question of
that's
of
the
life,
question
man.
of
That's
life,
like,
dude. Exactly.
Yeah. That's what is the meaning of life kind of question. You said to ponder philosophically, and I don't know. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So Raw this week. Raw was pretty nutty, but let's talk about Elimination Chamber. I wasn't privileged enough to watch the Elimination Chamber, but I've only heard magnificent things about it. I heard that and we've kind of joked about it. We've kind of poked at it a little bit. Like Elimination Chamber is like one of the weirdest, stupidest gimmick matches ever. But legitimately, I heard it was a fantastic, worth your penny match or PPV.
Yeah, I mean, Sheamus shined. Cesaro had a really good run in there. Randy Orton hid in a pod because he's to hide from people. And the Wyatts ran in and eliminated Cena and Daniel Bryan. So I was
How the heck did they get in the chamber anyway? Isn't it like all sealed up?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the lights went out and they did their Wyatt's magic and they kind of popped in there. But yeah, it cost Cena the match, and so that sets up that feud for WrestleMania. I guess Bray Wyatt versus John Cena is what they're building for.
Good.
And then freaking Randy Orton hit Daniel Bryan for an RKO. Daniel Bryan kicks out of the RKO. Everyone freaks out like, wait a second. And then I think Daniel Bryan got distracted again and got hit with another RKO. So that's how he lost. So Randy Orton's going on to WrestleMania to face Batista.
Man, one thing that I thought was interesting at the start of Raw, or one of the matches, it was Batista.
Mm-hmm.
Batista dad comes out and fights who does he
Alberto
fight?
Del Rio.
Yeah, he fights ADR again in a rematch, and I was like, whatever, it's silly. You're just giving this guy a match to wrestle, whatever. But I thought it was interesting. Orton comes out and calls him out and says, "Hey man, nobody likes you, dude. Nobody thinks you're cool. Ever since you came back, these people are booing you." And I tweeted something out too. I don't know if the Bros Before Elbows tweet got this, but what I did say and what I did notice was this. So Batista basically says, you know what? If the fans want to cheer me, I'm going to cheer with them. If the fans want to boo me, I'm going to boo against them or whatever. Deal with it. And I was like, ooh, deal with it. That could be like his tagline. Like, he's here. Obviously, he's going to WrestleMania, whatever may happen, and obviously there's an article we'll talk about here within the podcast, but I really thought that was a cool kind of a tagline for him, where he's just like, you know what, I'm here, deal with it. That could be his shtick, you know what I mean? Deal with it. I'm Batista, I've got a nose ring, I've got a belly tattoo, I've got terrible tattoos on my back, deal with it. I'm going to WrestleMania, deal with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like back tattoos of flowers of colors on them. Deal with it. I have skinny jeans on and I'm 45. Deal with it. Like, yeah, I mean, that could totally be his new gimmick. Man, I run out of air after a 2-minute match and I can barely speak my promo afterwards. You know what? Deal with it, okay? Just deal with it, okay?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
guys.
old and I'm fat and I'm like, total ring rust and I'm going to the watering hole. Hey, you boys want to see some wrestling? Woo!
Batista Dad trying to, hey, I'll buy you guys some beers if I hang out with you. No, Batista Dad, you're just gonna buy us like Michelob Ultra and you're gonna drink half of it and you're gonna leave us like with one bottle left.
You boys want to hear some stories?
Yes, back in your day, you used to climb uphill both ways to get to school. Batista.
Back in my day, I would power bomb mountains.
Back on the radio days and cassettes.
Back when wrestling was a radio show.
He needs to grow like an old man, like prospector's beard, and like lose a couple front teeth.
We would send letters to our fans, and that's how they'd hear the show.
Sponsored by good old Ovaltine. Batista. But yeah, man, I'm trying to like give this guy like so many chances. Like maybe he has. I mean, he has to be a heel. I mean, I think he has to be a heel. But then like Randy Orton has to be like a face, kind of. And like I don't know, the fans were like cheering him on Monday Night Raw after he like totally like made fun of Batista. So it was so weird to have
they're just
like
agreeing with him. I don't think they're cheering for him. I think they're like acknowledging that he's calling him out. But here's an interesting fact, and here's the reality of the situation. If you're going to bring in a wrestler, right, a Rock or a Brock Lesnar, or in this case a Batista, look, there is such a heavy expectation that when this wrestler comes in, that, and I would even say the same thing for Sting. So when Sting finally signs the paper, when he finally says, yes, Vinnie Mac, I will work for you, this will be magical, there is so much expectation going into this entertainer, into this wrestler, that there can be absolutely nothing but 110%. They have to be better than what they were when they originally wrestled. And that's it. And the problem is we were spoiled with Lesnar because Lesnar was booked accordingly, right? He was mean when he came back. He was breaking people's arms. I was judgmental at first. I was like, this guy's, no, I can't buy into it. And then I did because he was effing nuts. Dude's off of his freaking rocker. And then you've got a dude that comes back, obviously like The Rock, that is already has a bunch of stigma and gives 110%, goes above and beyond what he was when he was in WWE. Yes, he's evolved. I can't say he was the same exact because he can't be the same exact. He's the same person, but he's evolved as his character. He's evolved as The Rock. But he came back, and everybody had this high expectation, and he delivered. Then you got a guy like Batista that comes back, and he just kind of is this fat potato chip eating oaf.
He's the same. He's worse. I mean, he's
worse.
Yeah, people had all these good memories from him, and like me and you completely like missed that era of when he was like a good like monster like face, and he was a big heel, and he had like his run with like Evolution with Ric Flair, Randy Orton, and Triple H with that stable, and he broke away from that stable. He beat Triple H at WrestleMania for the title, and all this good stuff. And I was like, wow, this guy sounds pretty cool. They showed us little highlight packages of him like powerbombing everyone. And we had all these memories from like 4 or 5 years ago, except the fact is 4 or 5 years later, he's the same dude, or he's worse. He hasn't evolved like The Rock. He hasn't tweaked his character like Lesnar. He didn't go into MMA and win like a UFC title and become a total like legit badass. And he didn't like go and do a lot of big movies like The Rock and evolve as a character. Yeah, he's just kind of the same dude, or kind of like a lesser dude. And now his like cardio is worse, his moves are worse, he moves slower. It's just like there's not a lot to like about him unless you're like a super hardcore Batista fan from back in the day.
Which I don't think that there were that many. I think if anything, if you're gonna bring anybody back and you're gonna put him in position right away, to throw him at the main event, which is a big deal, dude. That's like all of a sudden saying like, hey, one year the Browns were good in like 2006 or whatever, 2010, and you haven't heard from them in like 3 or 4 years. Hey, but this season, guess what? They're going to the Super Bowl, and they're like the crappiest team on the planet. You know what I mean? It's like you just can't do that. But you know what would be appropriate? If they were going to do that, if they were going to skyrocket anybody to take it to the main event, why in the F, why not have Chris Jericho be that guy?
Yeah, I mean, he's more part-timer. I mean, he's been back a lot more than Batista since he,
But he performs a lot better than Batista. You gotta give him that.
No, he does everything better than Batista. He's a better pro. He's better on the mic. He's better in the ring. I mean, like, he came back for Rumble last year. Remember, he went 45 minutes, and he wasn't like
ass.
And he wasn't even tired. Yeah. And then Batista comes back for the Rumble this year. He's been for 10 minutes. He's like sucking wind so hard. And he only eliminated like 2 guys. It was like, oh god, he's just man. Yeah, give it to Jericho. Give it to Lesnar. I mean, these are part timers who they come back and they're in tip top shape and they bring their A game. And it seems like this Batista's kind of like rolled out of bed and just expected everything. I don't know if he expected everything's handed to him or he just has it written in his contract. He's just rolled out of bed and just kind of like, yep, I won the Rumble and now I'm main eventing WrestleMania. Deal with it.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude, terrible.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
You know, and one thing I understand too, and I read this article with Steve Austin where they were like, I read it on Cage Side, and they were basically like, yo, man, you gonna come back and wrestle? And he was like, no. And here's why. Because I'm not going to be 110%. I'm not going to go into something that I know I'm not going to give my heart and soul into. And when I did, man, the detox from pro wrestling was rough. And for me to jump back into that and not be 100,000,000%, it would crush me. Like, there's no way I could do that. And for someone like him, for Steve Austin 316 to say that is like, damn, dude. You got your head on straight, dude. He
doesn't want to mess up his legacy, man, because people remember him from 10 or 11 years ago. They're going to look at the WWE Network and look at all his old videos and stuff and remember him that way. They're not going to, if he comes back and maybe he does do a good match or maybe he doesn't, but I guess he just wants those memories to, like, remain the same,
Dude, absolutely. But then again, it just sucks, man. It just sucks for Batista. I mean, I feel for the guy as a human being. I know we poke jabs at him and we give him this meme of Batista dad. But you know what? Like, I feel for the guy, but at the same time, dude, pay for the ticket, take the ride. You should have been in better condition. You should have been like the moment that you got the call from Vinnie Mac, you should have already been in the gym. You should have already been cutting promos. You should have already been like doing the dude, because the expectation is that high. And when you under-deliver, look, man, the freaking and it's weird to say this because it's just weird to say it, but it's kind of true. Dude, the New Age Outlaws are kicking Batista's ass. And they're the freaking champs, dude. They're the tag champs. And everybody wanted them back. Yeah, they sprinkled them in every now and then, and people wanted them, and now they have it. And they're doing it, dude. They're freaking doing it. They know that if we come back, when we come back, the microscope is on us, man. Every detail, every piece of the match, every breath I take, every move I hit, everything I sell is going to be judged. And it's either going to be extremely awesome or it's going to suck. And I'm going to become Batista dad.
We don't want Road Dogg uncle and badass brother-in-law or something. Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. I never even thought of the New Age Outlaw. That's a good point, man. Yeah, they've had their moments. They've had their moments where they missed stuff, but more often than not, they've come through. And there are under the microscope because they remember them from 10 or 12 years ago. And you know what? They're putting over new talent like the Usos, and they're feuding with the Rhodes brothers and stuff like that, and they're making them look better. So, yeah, I think they're doing it the right way, even though people are kind of like on their last wits end with them. But I think they've had a better run than the Batista so far, for sure.
Dang, man. Crazy. Well, look, I think we should take a little bit of a break. We're already 30 minutes in. We still got a lot to talk about as far as we got some fan posts to go through from Cage Side. And, obviously on the topic of WrestleMania, there's still some things right now. It's a little wishy-water knowing that we got Batista Dad trying to do his thing. So there's still a lot. Plus, my favorite thing, which is always the progression of new roster coming in. There's some cool stuff with NXT that's happening that I think is definitely podcast worthy. So stick around, fans. We'll be right back. We're going to take a little break. When we come back, we'll have some more to chat about. Thanks for listening to the Bros Before Elbows podcast. Be sure to check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Just search Bros Before, 4, Elbows. We would love to keep the conversation going with wrestling, so send us your thoughts and feedback. Email us at brosbefore, 4, Elbows, @gmail.com. Welcome back to the Bros Before Elbows podcast. So, yeah, man, wacky stuff going on. Reading some crazy things, and you know what? I think, so one thing I want to bring up real quick before we jump into this, this extremely awesome fan post on Cage Side, I just want to talk about two mega forces real quick that I think deserve attention because I've always given them attention, and I think they deserve more attention because they're freaking awesome. The Wyatt family versus the Shield at Elimination Chamber. These two mega powers coming together and battling the crap out of each other. I heard it was such a freaking good match.
Yeah, it was like a 5-star match, I guess. In the end, Roman Reigns. I guess they took out Seth Rollins. They took out Dean Ambrose. So it was Roman Reigns versus all three members of the Wyatts, and he was just like Superman punching them all and spearing them all. And I get he eventually got pinned, but I heard it was like an all-time like classic match between the six men. So it's total like show stealer for that pay-per-view.
Man, and I read it too that Reigns got pinned, but you know what? It's not always about winning your match to make you look better. Sometimes you gotta get pinned, but as long as you gave it everything and you made it the best possible match, that's what it's about, you know?
So do you think the Shield's going to break up sooner or later? I mean, then on Raw the next night, Reigns versus Bray Wyatt had a good 20-minute match. It was kind of a slow match. The crowd wasn't really into it, but then both members of the Wyatts and the other two members of Shield came down there, all kind of brawled and all kind of stood united. But you think the Shield's going to break up anytime soon, or what's your bet on it? How's it looking?
It's like a tire that's slowly losing air, but isn't gonna pop. It'll just eventually deflate.
There's gonna be no big blow off at WrestleMania.
I'm hoping
triple threat.
I'm hoping there's a triple threat, and here's kind of what I'm thinking, because I'm kind of afraid, but not afraid for Seth Rollins, and here's why I say that. Dean Ambrose,
he's such a good wrestler, man. He's such a good wrestler, though.
He really is. He really is. But I don't think out of the Shield that he is one of the strongest guys. I think Ambrose will hold on his own, right? He will be his own thing. He'll break off. Eventually, they're going to unite the Intercontinental and the U.S. Title, unless they do something wacky with, brand separation, whatever the powers that be will want to do. Ambrose can hold his own. Rollins, I still think, needs a little bit of grooming, and I think the best way to do that is when the breakup eventually happens, he's going to pair up with Reigns. I think Reigns has enough power behind him, just being Roman Reigns, that he's an excellent wingman. He's an excellent guy to help Rollins get over and develop more of his character.
I think that's a good pairing, man, because Reigns is just the intimidating pit bull, and then Rollins could work on his mic skills a little bit if he's paired with Reigns.
I think if anything, when the split happens, Ambrose just kind of says, you know what? I've been the voice of the Shield. I've been the one coordinating everything. You guys have been, the win behind me, not beneath me, but behind me. I'm going to do my own thing. And then Rollins is kind of going to be split. And that's where I think he's going to develop this character of being very, very loyal, but kind of understanding like, damn, dude, I gotta stick with my homie, dude. If you want to break off from the Shield and go rogue, you can go rogue, but I'm kicking it with Reigns. Even if they do a tag team for a little bit, give it like 6 months, tops 8 months. Give him a couple pay-per-views together. You don't have to give him the titles, but make Reigns even bigger than what he is, but at least give Rollins the potential to become and branch off from his own off of Reigns, not just leave him to the schmo jobbing. Not saying they would, but that's why I fear for him. I fear that they might job him off.
I was fear he might get left behind just because there's 3 storylines they're gonna have to work with. There's 3 single dudes, and he might be like the last guy in the writers' room. It gets kind of like he gets his stuff like left on the floor because
what do we do with this guy? I don't know. Have him fight Zack Ryder. Sure, why not? Put him on Superstars.
Gotta put something on main event on Wednesday.
He's gotta wrestle, right?
Yeah, I think that'd be good. I think him and Reigns could be like a good babyface team too. I don't know. I could see that for some reason. I'm just picturing that, especially picturing Reigns as a babyface. I don't know. I think the crowd's like already like cheering him. They love cheering his Superman punch and like his spear already. So I think he's going to be naturally fall into a babyface role whenever the Shield breaks up.
He's going to be a babyface because he has that meanness to him. He has that he just has that aggression about him that naturally you want, kind of like the CM Punk aggression. Even though we could say mean and evil things, you still follow him because he kind of is that person that he's kind of like that like, I don't know, he's just kind of like this person that you want to follow and kind of be a little bit, But as far as Rollins goes, like I just don't want to see him fall to the wayside. That's really the big thing. And I think he's good enough, he's talented enough, his moveset's great. He needs to brush up on his mic skills. That's like, 70% of the gig is being able to speak. But I just don't want to see him break away. Something that and this kind of goes into the next piece here, is this article that was written on Cage Side. It was a fan post. This guy basically writes he's got a funny username or whatever, stuck in Afghanistan. I support the troops 1,000,000%. Thank you for writing this article. But he writes this crazy article about who's jobbing, jobber to the stars class, lower mid card heel class, actual mid card, and then you got your main eventers. So I think we should go through some of this list. And we'll shout out some names, and we'll try to figure out whether or not it's kind of an accurate post.
Yeah, Stuck in Afghanistan. Go check it out, CageSideSeats.com. He started to write some fan posts recently. I noticed. So this is one of his other. It's a good way to look at the roster. Just like, hey, remember that guy's still here, and just to see how many people are actually on the roster right now. It's actually more than I thought. But a lot of people don't get on TV as much. But so the first class he has listed is Jobber class. So these guys are just jobbers. You might not even remember them, might not even be on TV for a while, but who stands out to you?
Who the hell's number one?
So one guy I saw, actually our friend Theron, longtime neighbor, longtime BFF. I asked about. He actually texted me about this guy this week, Ezekiel Jackson. I totally did not. The only thing I know about Ezekiel Jackson is that when I'm in Toys R Us, I'm looking for my kids for WWE toys. His toys are always available. There's always an Ezekiel Jackson toy on the shelf. Yeah, he's always on the shelf. So, Stuck in Afghanistan says waiting for him to get healthy so he can get released. So I guess he's injured or something.
I don't know. Ezekiel Jackson, please get better soon so we can see you and buy your toys. Number one on the list that he puts here, and I'm sure there's no specific order, Camacho.
Who is that guy?
Who the hell is Camacho?
He got an up. He gave everyone 3 ratings. He could give them an up, an out, or a down, and Camacho actually got an up. So I guess he's a Mexican guy, so I guess he can feud with Sin Cara or something, so maybe we'll keep him around for that.
There we go. That's cool. I think, didn't Camacho, wasn't he...
That's Hunico. I think you're thinking of Hunico. Hunico was like
the guy that like came out on like a bike of some kind. Like
yeah, that was Hunico. I think I'm 99% sure. I should probably look up. Yeah, I have no idea who Camacho is. I wish I could not pick him out in a crowd, dude. If it says
I have no idea. But isn't Hunico the new Sin Cara?
Yes, he's the new Sin Cara. He's got his knuckle tattoos.
So, wait, what? You mean Sin Cara is not the real Sin Cara? What? Next dude, Kurt Hawkins, out. I can't imagine Kurt going much longer. Who is this guy?
I don't remember. Another guy, I don't know, yeah. I looked up Camacho's Wikipedia page, and the picture of him is him standing next to Hunico. So you can't tell what it is. It's like a shadowy picture, and it's like, so they can't even get a good picture of Camacho.
He's like somewhere in the background, like drinking a cola.
Yeah. So I guess Kurt Hawkins used to team with Zack Ryder.
All right.
That's all I got for you.
Got it. David Otunga. This guy was big when what's his face? Goofy horse voice. Jackass GM. Yeah, Johnny Ace.
He was his right-hand man, yeah.
Yeah, he's like the legal counsel. He always had his little like coffee cup with him.
Yeah, and always matched his sweater vest. It was awesome.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, I didn't even notice that.
You never noticed that. That was the best part about David Otunga. But yeah, I think he should come back. I mean, I think like, so why doesn't the Authority like need like legal analysis or something?
Yeah.
I mean, he could do something like that, right?
Totally, man. That's a good spot to put him. Maybe that's how they bring him back. Maybe he comes back with like kind of like IRS or whatever. And he's just like got stacks of paper with him or something. He's got a briefcase with like paper falling out of it or something. I don't know.
His gimmick could be he spills the paper everywhere before and has to like delay the match every time. You get booed so much, just wasting TV time.
His new finisher is the tax return.
Okay, so the next class is moving on to the next is Jobbers to the Stars class. So it's one step above Jobbers. Fandango's in this class. That's kind of mean. I think he should be above. Yeah, I don't think Fandango should be in the Jobber to the Stars class.
This dude freaking debuts on WrestleMania. There's no way this guy's a Jobber to the Stars class. If anything, I would say he's a mid card. That's right. I think he immediately made. This guy's in the same list as Zack Ryder and R-Truth, and the Great Khali for that matter. WTF.
Brodus Clay's in there too.
Oh my gosh, I can understand Heath Slater being there. I can understand basically 3MB.
3MB, yeah, 3MB.
Jinder and Drew. I can understand those dudes being in the Jobbers to the Stars class because you need that. Brodus Clay, yeah, he's getting it up. He'll be repackaged, which he is. Los Matadores, they've already been repackaged. Evan Bourne, I have no idea who that guy is.
He used to team with Kofi Kingston. They won the tag belts, and then he got busted for marijuana. So they took the tag belts off him. They lost to Primo and Epico.
Smoking the cheeb.
It was bad because they made Kofi and him lose the tag belts at a house show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really. So I don't know why he's even still on the roster. I'm surprised they haven't fired him.
Oh my gosh. Wow, man. Smoking the cheeb makes you lose your belt. That sucks.
Yeah, so he's in the Jobbers class. Santino's in there. Zack Ryder's in there. Xavier Woods already in the Jobber class. That's tough.
Oh, man. Stuck with an old Jobber. That sucks. Then he got lowered to mid card.
Lower mid-card hell class, so these guys are in the mid-card. They don't really get talked about too much, but I don't know. They're kind of in no man's land.
Bad News Barrett.
Bad News Barrett, definitely. I think he should be like the leader of this class because he's, I don't know, it's kind of grown on me a little bit. He knocked over, Cody and Goldust were playing with Legos in the back, and he, knocked over the Legos.
Yeah, apparently Goldust likes to throw hamsters out of a window. Or something like that, something wacky. And
that's his childhood. Where was Dusty Rhodes during this? Was he watching them?
What kind of parent was he? Oh my goodness. But who do we have on here? We got Damian Sandow, which I think is legitimate. Curtis Axel, so apparently this dude shows up in his hometown and nobody gives a damn.
They even had his grandfather, Larry the Axe, and still no one gave a damn about him. I don't know, man.
Gosh,
he had his
shot. This guy gets the rub from freaking Heyman. He gets the Heyman rub.
He's not the Heyman guy anymore. They branched off. Him and Axel rebelled, him and Ryback rebelled.
That was the worst decision ever.
Yeah, let's fire one of the greatest managers of all time and just go off on our own, dumbasses.
Oh my gosh, they tried, man. They put him with the belt. They tried to push him, and I thought he had a legitimate chance. I really did.
Yeah, he's got good moves and stuff, but I don't know. People just don't, not really connecting with him yet. So he's kind of stuck in the lower mid card. Hey, our boy Dolph Ziggler, we talk about him like every week.
I love that guy, my boy. Yeah, my boy Ziggy. But it's true though, man. He's like a lower mid. I thought he was gonna be a mid, but they keep punking this guy.
Mm-hmm. They keep losing, man. He doesn't even have any storylines recently. I don't know if he's taking time off or what. You don't want to take time. You don't want to be giving time off during WrestleMania season. That's a bad sign if they ask you to take a 2-week vacation in the middle of WrestleMania. So I have no idea what they got planned for Ziggy Puff.
Damn. Who else do we got on here? We got Sin Cara. We got Kofi. I think he's a mid. I'd say he's a mid.
Yeah, he's always involved in something. I mean, he beat Randy Orton a month ago. So I think you could argue him being an actual mid-carder.
Damn.
But I think Cody Rhodes and Goldust should actually be bumped up too because they just won the titles and they've gotten good storylines at least. But yeah, I mean, they say this is Cody's year. I mean, to maybe break out. I mean, I think he's doing better as a babyface. So I think that could work.
I would say so. Let's see who else we got here. We got Ryback. I would say he's a jobber.
Ryback, yeah, he's lost a lot, man. But let's see. I don't know. Maybe I get one big. If he loses again at WrestleMania this year, then yeah, I think so. He lost last year to Mark Henry, which is weird. But yeah.
And then if we jump into the mid card here, we got Big E. So Big E surpasses all of these dudes that we just talked about, and he's an actual mid-carder.
Mm-hmm. No, he's got the title. He's getting a feud. He's feuding with Jack Swagger and Antonio Cesaro, so at least he's got a story going for him.
That's true. He's in the same echelon as Big Show. And Cesaro, man, I love Cesaro.
Cesaro's awesome,
man.
He's just Cesaro now, no more Antonio.
Dude, what a mean name.
Cesaro?
God, that's badass, dude. He's with... So, I like this lineup. So, you got Big E, you got Big Show, you got Bray Wyatt, you got Dean Ambrose. Man, they even have freaking Eric Rowan and Luke Harper on here, dude. That's huge, man. You got the whole Wyatt family in the mid-card lineup. Man, that's awesome.
You got a whole Shield in the mid-card lineup, too. In the bottom, you got Seth Rollins, and you got Roman Reigns. So,
ooh, man, they put Sheamus as a down.
I think, yeah, he put James, let's say, unless he turns heel. I don't know. I think he's kind of connecting with babyface still. I think, distance made the heart grow fonder a little bit for Sheamus. That, 6 months of injury. So, I'm curious what they do with him for WrestleMania. What kind of feud he gets. But, I don't know. I think he's kind of working still as a face.
I think he needs a specialty partner, though.
Yeah, he needs the right dance partner. Yeah. They were talking about him and Cesaro, dude, wrestling at WrestleMania. Well, I think that'd be great. I think that'd be really cool.
That would be rad.
I think that could be a show stealer if they did that to open the show. I think that'd be could be a pretty good feud too, because they did something good at the Elimination Chamber, I guess.
Damn, yeah, I heard that was a solid match. I even heard that Jack Swagger and freaking Big E had a good match.
Yeah, Jack Swagger on the come up, dude.
Damn, well, last year he was on the WrestleMania bout, but he got busted for the cheeb. That cheeb, man. He'll get you.
Cheeb, man. I don't know. In Portland, you guys love the cheeb, so.
I don't know, man. That's Washington. It's legal up there.
Oh, I forgot, dude. Daniel Bryan territory.
Still outlawed out here.
The rebellious state of Oregon.
You gotta know someone to light that plant on fire.
So, this episode of Bros Before Rebels is presented by Shadiness, Shady Back Alley Deals.
Hey man, that would be a good gimmick, dude. Shady Shady Sam or something, or Shady.
Yeah, Shady. Yeah, it could be Sheamus's neck gimmick. Shady Sheamus. Back alley deals.
Yeah, you guys need something?
What
I got something for you. Bro,
what a heel. Bro kick.
Bro
heel. That's funny.
Man. Crazy, dude. Who else we got? We got Rey Mysterio. We got Kane. Man, Jack Swagger's on the mid card. Man, that guy's a freaking jobber. You know what? Finally, they're gonna break up Cesaro and Zeb. I love Zeb. Zeb has grown on me, man. What a funny freaking man. I didn't think he was gonna last, dude. I really didn't.
Committed to the character, man. We the people.
Dang, there was so many "We the People" chants on Raw, dude. It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
yeah, the house show I went to, dude. Me and aforementioned Theron and my son Tommy, he's 4, went to the house show, dude. And yeah, We the People got a lot of big chants, man. We the People. I think maybe like We the People. Well, first it was Cena, and then it was Daniel Bryan, and then like maybe We the People might have been like third. Like people love chanting that.
Dang, man, that's crazy. That's good.
Yeah, so I think Cesaro's really coming up. I don't know if they might turn him face or not.
I don't know, man. But then, of course, you got your main eventers. We'll kind of move this along. You got Batista Dad. You got Brock Lesnar. My boy.
Your boy.
You got CM Punk, of course, wherever he is. Chipmunk Punk, wherever he's at, doing something.
CP Monk.
CP Monk. CP Monk is outside. That's what it even says, dude. Daniel Bryan, he's up on the up. Undertaker out. He'll always be a once a year. All right.
Yeah.
Sure. But that dude has a freaking wrestling ring in his house, and that dude, like, specifically trains just for that match, man. That's what it takes. That's what it freaking takes. If you're going to come back, you best have a freaking ring in your house.
Is Batista Dad at a ring in his house? Is
No,
it a waterbed?
dude, he's just playing WWE 2K14, dude. That's his freaking
That's his
workout, dude. Oh, I won this match. I won like 8 ladder matches. I beat Conan for the WWC or WCW title.
Why'd I create Conan on WWE 4K?
Oh man! Then of course you got obviously Triple H, Randy Orton, John Cena, everybody's favorite. I call him the American Soldier because that is like who he is. That is my gimmick to him. You know what? You're welcome, John Cena. If you adopt the American
like he needs
Soldier,
more help getting pushed, dude. You're giving him more help.
You need my rub. You need my rub from the Bros Before Elbows podcast.
He needs the endorsement from Bros Before, the unofficial podcast of John Cena, the American Soldier.
You have been tapped, John Cena. You have our blessing.
The Hulk Hogan of this era, man. Like you said, that they bring it full circle to the beginning of the podcast.
Totally, man. Totally. Freaking A. Speaking of, so not CM Punk, John Cena's not going to be in the main event of WrestleMania this year, which, you know what? That's a good breather. Give him something else to do.
True.
You know, let somebody else take a hold.
Let Batista and Randy Orton. That's our solution.
Not really.
If we're gonna go, I would rather see John Cena at this point than those two.
You know, but we got some options. So let's talk about some options, right? Here's another cool article that's on. Actually, it's on Grantland.com. Features Batista, Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, Triple H deals, whatever. But there's 3 different options that are presented to patch fix WrestleMania. So whether or not, I don't know, maybe you're going to buy it because you want to buy it because it's WrestleMania. Maybe you're on the fence of not buying it because it could turn out to be crap.
Yeah, it was a great article. Check it out, Grantland.com. Their WWE writer, David Shoemaker, awesome writer from Deadspin. Follow him on Twitter if you don't. But yeah, he wrote an article. It's basically just saying that like WrestleMania 30 is going to look like a train wreck right now. It kind of looks like a train wreck, and like you're going to watch it because we want to see a train wreck, or we're going to watch it because we love WWE, we love WrestleMania. So there's like three. So he gave us 3 options kind of to save WrestleMania 30 was, I guess, his premise of this article, so to check out.
So option 1, so if WWE goes ahead with all of this, right, with the Batista, freaking Randy Orton, option 1 is it's going to be a train wreck. And we're just gonna watch it because that's just what they gave us, and we have no choice. That's the only thing that's on the menu. Option 2 is
basically option 1 is like you're just gonna watch it just to see if like the New Orleans Arena throws trash in the ring, a la Bash of the Beach 1986 when Hulk Hogan turned heel, or if they're just gonna like just storm out and start walking out during the middle of the main event or whatever. So,
oh man,
that's option 1. That's the train wreck option. Option 2. Drum roll.
Is if they set up a stipulation where Daniel Bryan can win his way into the title match by beating Triple H.
Yeah, because it looks like they're setting that up because they set that up on Raw. Brandon Bryan beat Kane again, 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring, and then he challenged Triple H to a match, basically, to stop hiding behind Stephanie and stop hiding behind the Authority and just meet Daniel Bryan in the ring. So if that's the match for WrestleMania, they could either do that as the main event of WrestleMania, or maybe they could do that as the open of WrestleMania, and if Daniel Bryan wins, he gets to go to the main event of WrestleMania.
Dang.
Which, man, that'd be kind of crazy.
For the same guy for any wrestler to wrestle 2 matches at WrestleMania. That's
a huge
unreal,
honor,
dude.
man. That's huge. I mean, but like the way they've had Daniel Bryan run the gauntlet so far, like so many times on Raw, where he's had to like beat every member of the Shield, where he's beat like Cesaro, Ryback, and Swagger. We had to beat Kane and other people after that. I mean, if anyone could do it, if anyone could pull it off, it's Daniel Bryan. And what a way to get over your number 2 face in the company right now, or maybe arguably number 1 face in the company. I think that'd be an amazing setup. The only thing that he said that the drawback is that if they set that up and like Triple H wins the match, that could be bad. Or if like it might be too obvious that Daniel Bryan's going to win the first match, so it kind of makes the first match kind of like anticlimactic.
It depends how you book it.
Yeah,
really depends how you book it. But I think that could be freaking rad. Option 3, Chipmunk Punk makes his return at the end of Raw next week in his hometown of Chicago.
He takes off the chipmunk mask and reveals it's CM Punk under it. I think that'd be great. It'd be the all-time like Gilbert swerve.
Gilbert makes his way back into the show.
And he tries to spear CP Monk.
CP Monk, the Monk returns. That could be cool, though. I mean, that could be. Steve Austin even said, man, it started out as a shoot. Could be a work.
Dude, but what kind of crazy, like, that'd be like an all-time, like, swerve from the WWE, because, like, the thing is, CM Punk hasn't even said anything on his Twitter, like, ever since he left the WWE, which is so weird. That kind of, so I think if he would have, like, broken ties with the WWE, he would have said something by now on Twitter. He's not the kind of dude to keep his mouth shut.
True.
So, I mean, the fact that he's been silent this long, and then, like, he was, like, at a UFC event this weekend in Las Vegas. He sat in the front row, but he was, like, in a hoodie. He was, like, kind of covered up. Like, he didn't want people to see him there, but some cameras caught him. Just taking pictures of him. He didn't say anything or anything. But, so he's totally, like, incognito right now. But, I think that's kind of, like, leads me to believe that could be part of a storyline, dude, that he's kind of staying silent, trying to fly under the radar, because it's going to be a big, like, super swerve. If that happens on Monday night, dude, I think like the internet like might melt down of just people going crazy if he returns to Raw on Monday night.
We'll see.
Wouldn't that be a good swerve though, dude? If he comes back and they put him in the main event, I don't know how they would explain it, like storyline wise. I don't know, maybe they have to make him have a match on Monday night or something, and he wins, and then gets put in the main event. But I don't know. Tricky subject, but that'd be an all-time swerve by the WWE.
There's really only one way to find out, you know?
What's that?
And we'll see what happens. Well, I mean, I don't know if option 3 would ever really, like, come into fruition.
Why? It's too wacky, or is this like rewarding the kid who, like, threw a temper tantrum by giving him chocolate?
Kind of. Yeah, it's kind of like, well, if you're just going to walk out, then fine. We'll give you what you want. I just don't think that's a good enough angle. Like, I can understand, like, a realism angle, but that just seems like, I don't know, that just, it doesn't seem fitting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's too many other wrestlers on the roster that have worked really, really hard, and I think there's been too many trump cards played with Batista Dad. You can't just, like, give these... I don't know, man. I don't know. There's no story behind it. He just got pissed and walked out, and that was it.
Yeah, there is really no story. It's too real, too real to kind of like work and do like a fictional story at this point. It's kind of weird. But like we said, like in our last the CageSideSeats.com fan post, there's not that many main eventers on the roster. So if you're gonna do a triple threat match, there's only so many people you could throw in there. Now that Batista and Randy Orton are officially locked in for the main event. So there's like no going back now, man. The train's on the track, and we're heading towards New Orleans in April. So it's either be a train wreck.
Unless CM Punk comes out, clubs Batista's knees, and that's it.
So Randy Orton versus CM Punk?
Or somebody clubs Randy Orton's knees, and then the title's up for grabs, and then it's a 4-way match. Now you've got Triple H versus Batista versus Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan.
Wait, why did CM Punk club everyone's knees then if he's not even in the match?
Because he can't.
Because he's crazy. He's a rebel.
I don't know. Who knows where it's going to go? But that's the thing. WWE always keeps us on the edge of our seats, always ready for something. And I don't even know. At this point, it's destined. The train is on the track. It's going to its destination. We kind of know where it's going, but we really have no idea. Anything can be rewritten, dude. Anything can be rewritten in a matter of like minutes. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I don't even know anymore, dude. WWE is throwing me a loop. But you want to know what is cool? I will tell you this, and I'm glad that they're putting some focus on this. The NXT arrival. So apparently they're really, what is this, like a pay-per-view or like...
It's just something on WWE Network. So if we post this on Thursday, post this up on YouTube and Cage Side, see it's going to be on Thursday night. If it's coming up on Friday, then it was last night. It's just NXT arrival. They're just doing like a 2-hour show. Like I guess they're going to do a weekly show from the NXT studios or down in Florida now, and they're going to put on Thursday nights. So you'll be able to follow along. If you have the WWE Network, you can either stream it live on Thursday or watch the replay when it posts up like right afterwards. So it's just a new 2-hour show they're doing. And dedicated storylines to NXT with their belts. They have the NXT belts, they have the women's belt, and they have a tag team championship belt too. So
man, that's rad. Too bad the belt looks like crap though. The freaking world heavyweight belt for NXT.
The Bo Dallas belt. Yeah,
so stupid. But I have to applaud him because honestly, when you're bringing up your young roster and you're bringing up your young crowd, that's freaking rad. That's where it's at. You know what I mean? That's your future right there.
Yeah, man. So if you want to see, I mean, like last year this time, like the Wyatts and the Shield were like on there, and Big E was on there, and Cesaro. I'm like all these people who are like now like in the upper mid card and close to breaking through that main event ceiling were on NXT like a year or 18 months ago. So it's cool to see who's on the come up and who's on the outs.
Dude, they're doing it right, man. That's exactly how I see it. That's freaking rad. I don't know, man.
Our boy Sami Zayn's on it tomorrow, or on the NXT Arrival. He's wrestling Antonio Cesaro in a ladder match, I think.
That's gonna be freaking sweet. That's like his prime, dude.
Yeah, dude, that should be epic, man. It should be sick. I'm super pumped about that. That's the reason I'm signing. I haven't signed up for the WWE Network yet, but I want to sign up just so I can see that tomorrow night or watch the replay maybe after it's on.
Man, honestly, exactly. I would get it just for that match, man. Sami Zayn / El Generico back in the day, that is his prime. That is his match. That is his, like, honestly, that's going to be as powerful and as big as Cesaro is getting. If he winds up losing the match, God, that's going to skyrocket Sami Zayn.
Seriously, dude, the first week the WWE, the network's on TV and he beats Cesaro after Cesaro just like beat Orton and went one-on-one with Cena for a half hour on Raw. Man, it's like a huge push to the fact that Sami Zayn's even in this match with Cesaro. The fact that Cesaro is flying down to Florida on a Thursday night to do like a ladder match with Sami Zayn. Man, that says a lot about both of them, I guess.
Absolutely, man. I'm proud of that, man. And I gotta, man, I give my hats off to that. That's rad, dude. Your younger roster, that's the generation, dude. You can't have Cena and you can't have Hogan forever. you gotta at some point ease into some other people, and I'm so glad what they've done with this NXT crew, man. Seriously, the Wyatts, just like you mentioned, Big E, Cesaro, dude, all of those dudes, Bryan, Ambrose, Rollins, God, who else?
Bo Dallas?
Hey, we saw him at Rumble when we went.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, like, man, that's crazy. One thing I do want to touch base on before we wrap things up and get to the question of the day. Tell us about the house show, man. What matches did you see? What kind of what like memories stood out? Obviously, this was Little Man's first event. So what was tell us something that was magical, dude?
Oh man, it was pretty good, man. It was epic. It was in Phoenix. It was the US Airways Center where they had Rumble. We had the 2013 Rumble. It was me and my best friend and my 4-year-old son, little Tommy, and it was his first event, and he's wearing his John Cena shirt, and he was just super excited. Like every guy who came out, it's like, is Cena coming out yet? Is Cena coming out yet? And of course, like the main event was Cena versus Orton in like a steel cage match.
Ooh.
So they did that. That was the main event. The co-main event, I think, was actually Bray Wyatt versus Dolph Ziggler. And Dolph Ziggler lost that one, which wasn't a good sign. Another good match, they did The Shield versus Sheamus, Christian, and Daniel Bryan. They did that match, and Bryan kneed Ambrose, and he got the win there. And then after that, Kane came down, and like he cut a little promo on Bryan. And then Bryan and Kane like rumbled a little bit, and Bryan like knocked Kane through the ropes and stuff. So it was the day after Valentine's Day, so it was February 15th, so it was a week before Elimination Chamber. So I think they were just setting up everything for Elimination Chamber as far as like angles go and stuff like that. They did one with Big E and Ryback was the first match. Big E went over, of course. Ryback was pissed, and yeah, man, it was a really cool crowd, man. And Batista came out. We did the match with Alberto Rio. It was a really good match. I think Batista won by count out, and then dragged Alberto Rio back into the ring, and like Batista bombed him. But the crowd was, I don't know, there's a mixed reaction for Batista. Daniel Bryan got a huge reaction. John Cena by far got the biggest reaction though. And yeah, man, it was a good show, man. It was a good house show. I'd definitely go back, and I don't know, Little Man when at the end of the angle, because it said it was for the world title match. So I was like, oh, damn, they're not gonna let John Cena win a world title match at a house show, dude. At a house show in steel cage match. So I was like, oh gosh. So I had to like prep Little Man, but he didn't care because like because John Cena like lost and Little Man started bawling and like he started crying.
Really, I'm like, cried?
No. Yeah, he really cried, dude. He's like 4 and he doesn't know the difference. He thinks everything's like real still. He's totally into the kayfabe. So like I explained it to him, and like John Cena came back after Randy Orton started talking crap to the crowd, and like he came back into the cage and like AA'd him, and he stood tall. So that made the Little Man happy. So he kind of forgot because he's got like a short memory span because he's a kid. So
that would be
was
so
cool,
funny
man.
if like Little Man just smarks out and he's just like, no, I get it.
He's like, no, I'm a Randy Orton fan now. Like, what? Yeah, take away my John Cena shirt I just bought and stuff. Yeah, but man, it was cool, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely go to your house show because it's cool to see him like practice stuff, and yeah, it was cool. They put on a good show. It was like 2.5 hours, and yeah, it was good. I totally recommend it.
Dude, when I went to the house show, man, it was fun, dude. It was a lot of yeah, they do a lot of test runs. They build the beefs. They keep the story going. They obviously can't go backward on a story, but it was just really cool. Man, that's good, dude. I'm glad Little Man had a good time. I'm glad you went with T-Money. Man, that's rad, dude. That's fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was awesome. Got to go back. Can't wait for the next show in Phoenix whenever they come back.
Heck yeah. One thing we have to get back on here real quick before we wrap things up here is we got to answer the question of the day. So the question of the day was, now that the WWE Network is out, what's the first event or match you're gonna dial up on this thing and watch? Is it gonna be a WCW match? Is it gonna be a WWF match, a WWE match, whatever, or ECW? What are you going to watch?
Man, I had to think about. I mean, for me, it was just something I had to go back to, like from my childhood, and like the first like VHS tapes I remember like renting. Like even when we were back, like we lived in New Jersey, so I think we were like 5 or 6 maybe at the most. I remember mom and dad got me the Great American Bash 1990 on VHS, man. And so I want to go see that. That was one. It was like Ric Flair versus Sting for the title, and I think Sting won. I was super geeked for that. And another one was SummerSlam 1990. I remember like the opening like theme song to that. That was when I was a kid. And like the main event I think was Ultimate Warrior versus Rick Rude in a steel cage match, and it was the big blue steel cage with those big blue bars. So
Is that when Ultimate Warrior had the schnoogie?
Yes. Yes, you remember that, dude. We had that. We had the bootleg version of that SummerSlam. Like, dude, Dad recorded off the VHS.
You made, I think, probably the original, if we still have that cassette tape. I remember you did the commentary in your room watching that DVD, and you did the original. You recorded the original Bros Before Elbows podcast years before this ever came into fruition. But I do remember watching that, and I do remember you being in the room watching that match. The blue cage, the Rick Rude, the schnoogie coming out of Ultimate Warrior. Oh my goodness, dude.
Yeah, so I have to check that out like in full HD. So even if you even remember that, dude, so you remember how many times I freaking like played that VHS, like played that S out, man. So I have to see that SummerSlam 1990, Hulk Hogan versus Earthquake, Demolition versus the Heart Foundation, Texas Tornado versus Mr. Perfect. It was a good VHS, man. So I got to watch on the network. So I think that for me, the WWE Network, I was watching a lot of that old school stuff just from when I was a kid and seeing how it holds up when I'm now like a 30-year-old man doing a pro wrestling podcast to see how it holds up, man. So,
man.
So it's good times like that. So what are you going to watch, man? What are you thinking?
A couple of them, and I actually thought about this the other night, or actually not the other night, like last week or a week ago. Getting back into my childhood, Mark. So two things I gotta watch. One is when I really got back into watching pro wrestling, and it was when it was a Monday Night Raw. And it was with Chainsaw Charlie, and they put him in a dumpster.
Yes,
and
New Age Outlaws.
Yeah, New Age Outlaws put Chainsaw Charlie in a dumpster, and they wheeled him off the side of the stage. And I remember watching that at Nanny's house.
Oh, Grandma's house, okay, yeah.
And I just remember being like, oh my God, what is going on?
This is not what I remember from when I was like...
This is madness, and that's what threw me back into it, and I have to see that Raw again, because that is like one of my early, or not one of my earliest, but not the only, but one of the earliest memories that I have of pro wrestling. The other one that I want to watch is a match that I got so emotionally involved in. I do want to see a bunch of the matches with Kane when Kane first came out, because obviously I'm a massive Kane mark, and I have been since like 6th grade, 7th grade. I had all of his T-shirts. I had some chick that really liked me, and I didn't really like her, but she really liked me, and she bought me a Kane T-shirt, and I wore it all the time.
That's awesome, and the biggest Kane mark, yeah. Everyone liked Austin, everyone liked The Rock. You like Kane. That was awesome.
Kane, dude. And this chick, Jessica,
gave
me a T-shirt, and it was rad. But another one that I got emotionally attached to, or really just got into this match, is when Chris Jericho fought, I think it was like Juventud Guerrero.
Oh no! He faced tried to take his mask, right?
It was for the mask. So
that was a good match, man.
Jericho won. He had to take his mask off, and I remember, dude, every 1, 2 kick out, dude. I think I cried during that match, dude. Like, I was so into it, dude. I freaked out. I gotta watch that, dude. Those memories, dude.
That was a really good match. I wasn't even that into Juventud Guerrero, but I still wanted to keep his mask. So everyone was rooting for him, dude. It was kind of reminds me of the Rhodes brothers when they're about to get fired. It's bringing that emotional.
Yeah.
Definitely. So people our age who were watching this now probably feel the same way about maybe the Rhodes brothers and seeing Juventud lose his mask to Jericho. That was the ultimate damn, that was a dick move by Jericho. But
dude, I was
good.
going for Jericho too. I was hoping he would win. I was going for him, but man, those, I think the good thing about the WWE Network is the fact that you can revisit these moments, that you can go back in time when you were a kid, and you know what, at any point in time, and really, even some of the ECW stuff, dude. I remember when New Jack had a freaking vacuum cleaner in the ring, and he was vacuuming the ring, and then he whacked some dude with the vacuum cleaner. Like,
he did like a little vacuum cleaner dance, and he whacked the dude in the head. That was awesome.
My goodness, man! Like those, dude. It's those things that I'm really glad that the WWE has released this content, and I think everybody's gonna have a moment in time where they can mark out when they were whatever age when they started watching wrestling, and I think that's important, man. I think that's excuse me. I think that's like a massive, like, I don't know, man. That's just a good, like, emotional ride to go on.
Yeah, man, that's the great thing about pro wrestling, man. It's like it brings you back to those moments when you were a kid, and like you can remember like where you were when you were watching that, or like what you were doing at the time. It's just like a flood of memories that come back just by watching like an old thing on the WWE Network, which is just insane, dude. That's why I think this thing is going to be so popular. And it's going to be so good, and they're putting all the pay-per-views on it, and it's just going to be awesome. I can't wait to get it.
Absolutely, man. Incredible stuff. Incredible.
Just like this show, just like the Bros of Four Elbows, and we have our own Bros of Four Elbows network.
Yeah,
we're on the WWE Network.
Not yet. Give it time. Give it time. But you know what? We've done a lot of banter. We've done a lot of recaps, rumors, predictions, all of our stuff. We got to thank all of our fans. We got to thank our sponsor, www.thegodsofwrestling.com. Check out their page. Check out our page. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. Look, send us your comments. Send us your love. We want to talk about you on the show. We want our fans to interact with us, and we love doing that stuff. That's why we do this show. We do it because we're two brothers that love pro wrestling. We love everything about it. We love talking about it and sharing and going down memory lane and creating new memories. That's kind of the fun thing about this. So thanks for listening to the show. We're glad that we're doing this, and soon enough we'll be on iTunes. And, yeah, let us know what you like. Let us know what you mark out on with us. We're sure to hit you back.
Yeah, for sure, man. Work on that logo, too, and just, check us out. And everyone at CagesideSeats.com who comment on our show, and we post it up on there. Thanks for that, too. So another spot you can find us with the Twitter, the Facebook, the YouTube, all that good stuff. So, yeah, man, Bros Before Elbows.
Yay, everybody. Peace out.
Peace.